Stuck between courses? Take our advice.
Never say I can't, because you can and you will it. It just takes practice to make perfect. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to the second episode of Edvicer Webinar Series. If you are curious to know what Edvicer is, so let me tell you something about Edvicer. Edvicer is a course aggregated platform that displays and compares and recommends among over 1 lakh online courses offered by all major platforms such as Coursera, edX, Udemy, NPTEL, and many more. To know more about Edvicer, you can visit us at www.edvicer.com. Edvicer has started its initiative of conducting webinars on different major topics to motivate and encourage students and tech enthusiasts to get inspired and motivated by hearing the stories of some experts. I am Yashika Panagi, Campus Ambassador of Edvicer and also the host of today's webinar. So before we begin with the webinar, I just want to brief you some rules to be followed during the webinar. First, please be on mute to prevent unnecessary disturbances. Do not turn on your video at any point of time during the webinar so that we maintain a proper bandwidth. Third, if you have any questions for the speaker, you can post the same in the chat box. We'll be taking your questions from the chat at the end of the webinar. Also, please note that participation certificates are only provided to those who are with us till the end of the webinar, and the feedback form will be sent to you at the end of the webinar. I hope and expect that you follow these guidelines and help us to maintain the webinar at its best. So before starting the webinar, I would like to introduce Vivek and his achievements. Vivek Raja is pursuing final year in Computer Science and Engineering at Mepco Engineering College. He has won 15 plus international and national hackathons in the past 3 years and has also published 3 research papers in international conferences. He is Microsoft Certified Data Scientist Associate, AI Engineer Associate, Data Engineer Associate, Oracle Certified Developer Associate, and Solution Architect Professional. His areas of research interest are artificial intelligence and cloud computing. He is also an active mentor and a speaker in various developer groups regionally and globally. So I know just by hearing and knowing these many achievements, we all are very curious to know more about his entire journey and struggles that he faced during the hackathons and the experience he gained while working on his projects. Now I welcome our guest speaker, Vivek Raja, to share and guide his journey towards winning 15 major hackathons. And let's start today's webinar on the topic roadmap and strategies which helped me win 15 major hackathons. Over to you, Vivek.
First of all, happy morning to everyone who are present in this webinar today. So we have sacrificed your Sunday morning sleeps to make your Sundays more productive, and thanks to you. And I hope so. I'll make sure I'll benefit you in the same as well. So and thanks to Ashika for a wonderful introduction, and I'm looking forward to work with you really very soon with upcoming webinars and other meetups. So let's straight away jump into our presentation for now. Let me share my screen here. Today we'll be discussing about all the strategies and the roadmap, which usually I use as thumb rules to win any hackathon during my entire journey of winning 15 plus hackathons. So before going to that, let me tell you what we will be discussing today. We will be starting from the scratch. So if you are new to what is hackathon, we'll be discussing what is hackathon and what are the main steps that are followed in a hackathon. Then we'll be discussing about how to approach any hackathon. Then we'll be discussing the various strategies and other things as we go on. So I think Ashika gave me a wonderful introduction. Let's skip this part and let's go to the first topic here, and that is what is a hackathon here. So to those who are very new here, this is just a formal definition of what is a hackathon. So it is like a competitive event, like any other sports or whatever event. It is like just like there are people in groups who are trying to win against each other in a competitive scenario. And here what we try to do is we try to build a software or a hardware solution for a given problem statement. And the only constraint is that you need to build that product within a limited period of time. Let's say it goes around 16 to 18 or 24 or 36 hours. So let me break down the definition into several points that will be so that it will be able to understand. So First, it is a competitive event. So you are trying to win, participate, and you are trying to secure a prize in that. And the participation can be individual or a group. And over 95% of hackathons happens as a team event, and rarely the hackathon happens as individual. So let's focus. The entire session will be focusing upon group activities, not an individual scenario. And the event can be online or offline. So usually hackathon takes place offline, but there are first few rounds which are conducted online. Then the final round of the hackathon takes place offline. But since now everything is going virtual due to COVID-19, we'll be discussing both online and offline scenarios in our webinar today. And the solution, what we are trying to build for the problem statement, it can be a hardware solution or software solution, or sometimes it can be just an idea with a small proof. That's it. And the limited period of time where we need to build the hackathon, the entire hackathon runs around 24 hours, 36 hours, and 40 hours. You may wonder what we are going to do for the entire 36 hours of hackathon. Are we going to sit sleeplessly and try to build a product, or what happens entirely during this time period? So we'll be discussing everything today. And the major thing, because before attending any hackathon, you should know why you should go to a hackathon, because I will share the perks and benefits you'll be attending from a hackathon from a personal experience as well. So the benefits you reap is that you have a very added advantage compared to any other candidates during an interview. So let me state a real life scenario which I heard from my senior. So there was a campus interview going on, and the company couldn't find the required persons to recruit for. But after that, they had several rounds of interviews, and they were around 10 to 15 people shortlisted for the final round. But the team only wants around 5 to 6 people. And since everyone were on the same level, the only persons who had attended and presented their projects in research conferences and hackathons had an advantage to the interview process, and they got shortlisted. So this really plays a vital role if you are aiming to appear for an interview. And also, if you are trying to go for higher studies in US or UK, having a hackathon in your resume actually helps you to present you a very fruitful statement of purpose here. And you'll be having a very drastic increase in skills such as problem solving, research, presentation, mentoring, leadership, teamwork. So the way how I became a mentor and speaker in various developer groups is that a hackathon is one of my platform there, because I got to connect with various people there. And after the presentation stuff, it improved my speaking skills. And once I started to do many hackathons, I started to mentor teams for that as well. So that improved my mentoring skills. And obviously, the leadership and teamwork skills will come into play when you are doing a group project, or if you're participating as a team here. And you'll be having a practical knowledge in domain and hardware. And the networking is one of the main benefits you'll reap through your hackathon. So you'll be getting contacts directly from a CEO of a startup, or maybe you'll be getting connected with a HR, or maybe you'll be getting connected with like-minded people like you who are working on the same technology. And also you'll be trying to see the different perspectives of people who are working on the same problem statement. So that will help you increase in widening your the perspective of how you look at a problem and how you approach it to solve. And another best thing you can aim for a hackathon is the prizes. So the prize monies or the cash prizes, what the organizers give is that it goes for lakhs in amount. So usually the first place goes from around 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. So the biggest prize money which I had won is around 2 lakhs. So actually you can aim for the cash prizes, and better than that, you will be receiving your placement offers right on the spot of the hackathon itself. So during my second year of one of my hackathons, I received an on-spot placement from HCL Technologies by winning a 3rd place in a hackathon. So even the first 2 places didn't receive a placement offer, but I received a placement offer due to the product which we had built, and how it aligned with their requirements in their company. So I received a placement offer while I was studying my third semester in second year. At the time, the only programming language which I knew was only C, C++, and Java. That's it. So I think that will be you can aim for the swags and startup investment. You can also, these hackathons are very great platforms to find your investors to start a company or something like that. So now you might have understand what is a hackathon and why you need to attend a hackathon, because you'll be reaping a lot of benefits from it. And to know how a hackathon works, let me split a whole hackathon scenario into three parts. So that will be pre-hackathon, all the activities which we take place, which we do before hackathon really commences. That is the real hackathon, in the sense the final round or maybe the semi-finals and final rounds. And that will be a pre-hackathon. Hackathon is where the entire hackathon scenario goes on, where you do the submission, where you do the pitch and whatever you do during a hackathon. And post-hackathon is that once a hackathon gets over, what are the things you need to do? There's something important we need to discuss as well. So let's look into all the three stages, and we'll look into one by one right now. As I would say, the important stage of any hackathon scenario is a pre-hackathon, and I'll explain you why here. So what are the things you need to do during a pre-hackathon stage? Because first one is to check the authenticity of a hackathon. There are many hackathons which are posted by several organizations and tech companies like Amazon, Google, Oracle, Honeywell, etc. But there are organizers who are conducting other organizations who are conducting the hackathon as well. So, but before registering your team for a hackathon, you need to make sure that the hackathon is not a scam. I must not say it is a scam or something, like it might not be worth it, because you are investing a lot of time and efforts to make a project, and you're going to deliver it and you're going to present it. So make sure that your time is worth for attending a hackathon. And I'll say you what are the things you need to check for check the authenticity of hackathon in a couple of slides. The second thing is to like the team formation and the registration. To have a balanced team is one of the main key criteria to win any hackathon. So I would say I was not the only person responsible for my winning of 15 plus or participating around 60 hackathons in my past 3 years. I would say I would give my 90% of my credits to my team members, because without my team members I would have never got these kind of an achievement so far. So the team formation is one of the key criteria here. And the third one is the problem statement analysis. Like every organizers will post the problem statement before a hackathon, and there are very few scenarios where they reveal the problem statement on the spot. But anyway, we'll try to deal with two strategies here. And the next one is the domain research work and the solution drafting and the prototype preparation. So these are the 6 steps we need to do. We'll discuss these 6 steps in detail now. So to check the authenticity of an hackathon. So what does the authenticity mean here is that you need to first go and check who is the organizer of the hackathon, and is he really like a real organizer, or is the company really a branded one or something like that. You need to first go and check it. So usually you can just go for the hackathons conducted by major technologies, or the hackathons that are conducted by your college or the nearby colleges as a starting point. But still you need to check your organizers. And the second one is the eligibility. This is one of the criteria people usually miss out, because they might there are hackathons which are specifically designed for students, and it is designed for professionals, that is who are working people, and there are hackathons which are available for both students and professionals. In that criteria, you need to make sure that you meet out the age and the working experience and sort of stuff you need to have to participate for an hackathon and stuff. So there are a lot of people who blindly register for an hackathon but without knowing the eligibility. And the third one is the level of hackathon. So the hackathon takes place in various levels. It might be a regional one, like the one conducted by colleges or within your state, and it might be a national hackathons where the teams from all over India participate in that. And international hackathon is where all the teams from major universities or companies from all countries participate in a hackathon. And the next one is venue, stay, travel, and stay reimbursement. So during the final stages of a hackathon, you might be invited to come to a venue to attend the final round. So usually we can't expect the same venue to be a hometown. So usually it takes place if it's a national hackathon, it usually takes place in Chennai, Bombay, or any other metropolitan cities. Or if it is an international hackathon, you might need to fly to other countries as well. But before making sure like that, you need to talk with the organizer and get to know about the travel and stay reimbursement. There are a few hackathons who do not provide that. So if you are qualified for the final round, just because they do not give you the reimbursement to travel and stay to attend the hackathon, it doesn't make really a sense. So make sure that you talk with the organizers and get to know about the entire hackathon structure before participating or registering for that. And the next one is the important the stage of checking the authenticity of hackathon, that is the IP holder of the solution. So if you're trying to present a solution, that solution belongs to you and only you and your team members. So there are hackathons where they try to, like they mention in the hackathon details that once a solution is presented in their hackathon, the IP of the solution belongs to the company or the organizer itself. So that really doesn't make sense. You are not there to sell out your solution, but the solution always stays yours, and the company might get benefited later. That's not your business. But make sure that the solution IP of the solution stays with you. You can always go through the details in the hackathon page to make sure that this sentence is mentioned. So if it's not mentioned, kindly contact the organizer and make sure you clarify the point as well, and the benefits you reap. So make sure that we are providing enough cash prizes, or maybe there are a lot of people to network with you, and the swags and the placement offer they're trying to give. So there are many hackathons who disclose a price till the end of the hackathon. So that really doesn't make sense. What if you win a hackathon and they don't give you anything? So that's really a waste of time. So I have experienced that. So make sure that you check the prices and the benefits before entering into a hackathon. And the second step is your team formation. You need to pick your team. So for a leader, you need to assemble your team. So you need to have a right balance of your team members. So one person should be a core person who is working on the technology. There might be a supporting persons like who are working on a specific features, and especially there must be a person who need to coordinate everything, like from the starting pitch to the end final presentation. So make sure you have a well-balanced team. That really depends upon you. Like, your peer members or someone, you can analyze it qualities, and you can pick your team according to the problem statement what you have. And sometimes in a hackathon you will be picking your team on the spot. So in that scenario, try to network as much as people as possible before the hackathon commences, so that during the hackathon stage, while they are pairing up on the spot, you can pick the right members there and register well before the deadline. So that includes, because there are deadlines for your registration phase. So that don't try to wait till the last minute of your registration. Try to do the registration well before. Okay, if you have formed your team and you are ready to go for a hackathon, do it then. Even though if your team gets dismantled, or if you're backing off from a hackathon because of you're clashing with some other constraints, or maybe your exams or something like that, you can back off anytime. That doesn't really make an issue there. You can just ping your organizer and tell them you're not coming to your hackathon because of these scenarios and something like that. So that really make a big fuss, but do register for the hackathon. And the third important thing is, sometimes organizers ask you to register for their hackathon. If it is a considerable fee, please go for it. But if the fee is too high, or if they are collecting the registration fees only to give the prize money to the one winner, that you need not attend the hackathon itself, because you can present that same idea in some other hackathon where they respect your idea more than your registration money. And as I said before, try to assign the roles within the team and have a well-balanced team there. And the third one is the problem statement. So how does a problem statement look like? So for example, let me say a simple problem statement. That is, let's say take our current scenario. So imagine there is a hackathon based upon COVID-19 situation. So that will be your problem statement. So the themes will be like, you might need to predict the number of cases in your in future. So that might be one of the themes and problem statement. Like, and there might be other theme like to build a chatbot and to do something that will be helpful for the workers or doctors or something like that. So these are the themes, and COVID-19 will be a major theme of the hackathon, and the problem statement is will be like one the ones which I told right now. You need to go through each and every problem statement, and you need to pick the problem statement which is very relevant to you. So if you are doing well in machine learning, obviously I would pick to predict the number of cases for the next future. So that will be obviously my theme. So that depends upon your technologies or something which you love to work upon. So even though if you're not well versed in the technology, try to find the problem statement which is more relevant to you, and you can work on the technology a little later. So that doesn't really make a big issue there. And once you identify a problem statement, or if you need to like if you're having a confusion to select between one or two problem statement, what you need to do is list down the technologies which you need to implement that solution there, and what will be the constraint, and what is the solution expected by them. So do not never present a solution which is not asked by them. So what I mean is that always lie within your scope. If they're asking you to predict the number of future cases, do not do a chatbot there. So that feature doesn't really make sense there. So that's what you need to figure it out before by reading the problem statements. The fourth one is that once you have selected the problem statement and you have formed your team and you register for it, you do your domain research work. This aspect of the hackathon is an important one to win any hackathon, because let's say if you're having a progress of 100%, like from the start, from the registration of the hackathon to winning a hackathon. So let's assume that that's 100%. I would invest around 40 to 50% of my time to do the domain research work, and I'll explain you why. So once you have selected your problem statement, you need to go and analyze in depth to identify what are the problems that are lying within it, and what are the existing solution for the problem statement, and what do they expect from you to build a solution from it, and how it can be different from the others. So the how to analyze that, you need to do an intensive research there. So how can we do the research is that you need to first talk to the experts who are in that domain. For example, if the domain is about a business related one, say like it is about a forecasting, or let's say you are building a business related dashboard. Obviously you're not a business guy and you do not know the nuances lying within the business aspects, or what do really a businessman expect to show up on the dashboard. So for that scenario, you need to go and talk to an expert there, and you need to look into the existing softwares or how they work and what they work and so on, so that you'll be getting a clear picture of how you need to work on your solution. And the other domain research work is that you need to take surveys and feedback from the people. That will be really an authentic way to support your solution. So the only question they pose during the hackathon is that, is it a feasible solution, and what proof you have to support your solution. So these feedback will really support you during the questioning and pitching time. So next one is a solution drafting. So you have identified the problem statement, you need to analyze what are the existing work and what solution you are going to propose, and how the solution is different from others, and the technology used. So the technology use might vary as you work along the solution. So on a overview level, just say that you are going to work on a web. For instance, you are going to try to build a web app. You can just say that you're going to use a framework like Angular or Me, and you'll be integrating these and these features using these technology. For example, you're making a machine learning project, you can just include that you're going to include a machine learning project using this library, or you're doing an IoT project, you can say that you're going to build a web app integrated with IoT. So that's enough. That's the technology they expected, and the economic and social impact. So this is a thing they usually expect, because if you're trying to propose a solution, let's say you're trying to propose a solution that is an Iron Man suit, so that really doesn't make sense, right? Because you can't build an Iron Man suit by yourself, which has so many of features to solve a problem. So I think you need to have an economic feasibility, like what is the cost of to develop your solution, and how much impact does it have in the public or in the social level or in the society. So once these are done, you'll be in a stage where you will be having a clear idea on your solution and how to build your solution. So before hackathon, try to build a prototype. Actually, they will ask you to start from scratch during the hackathon, but it is not necessary. You can build a little features before your hackathon commences. For example, if you're trying to web app, usually that will include your login page and other stuff, right? So login page is one of the mandatory one you need to have for a web app. So you can build your login page beforehand itself. Even though the reviewers might not value your solution for the login page, but it is a mandatory aspect they really expect you to have it in your product. So try to analyze and get the features like that. Don't build your core solution before the hackathon commences. Do not build it. But you can research and experiment with the solution, but do not build your solution on before the hackathon. So once you have your build a few solution, let it be. You need to identify the features that makes your solution. So for example, if you are trying to forecast your COVID-19 cases, your predictive algorithm is your core feature. But the dashboard where you need to show your plot is one of the feature there. So we can build a dashboard beforehand, and you can work on the core technology of predicting a solution on the hackathon, because they'll be only noticing upon the accuracy or the what you expect, the accuracy you try to achieve by predicting the COVID number of COVID-19 cases, right? So that's one of the core features. You need to build it there. But before that, you can research with various algorithms and see how you can build a solution for it. So you can experiment always, but do not build your core solution beforehand. Prepare a boiler code, a code template is where, which I told about the login page and other stuffs. And experiment is where you can try to do as much of the experiment as possible and record the values there, because that will be really helpful for you to authenticate your work in the hackathon, to say that I have worked upon various models, or I've done a lot of experiments, and I found the best one to be the solution which I'm presenting. And these are the other experiments which I done. These are the results I achieved with it. So you can always include that in your presentation, and it really makes you to look like you have worked a lot upon your solution, and your solution stands apart from others. And this is a thing I usually tell to all my mentoring groups and to my team members as well. Trust your solution, because it is you who are proposing the solution. And if you're not trusting your own solution, I don't know who will, because you need to convince all your jury, fellow competitive team members, and your investors. Maybe investors may be present in your hackathon who might not reveal themselves, but they'll be looking into your solution. If you are confident about your solution, then that is one of the major key aspects to win any hackathon. But so if you're trusting your solution and you believe that to be the best one, it doesn't really make sense. You need to be open to ideas and feedbacks to make sure you improvise your solution to a better one. So that always say that this is a solution I'm proposing and will solve the problem statement, but I'll be always happy to receive the feedback to improve my solution. So that's the mentality you need to have. So I think this aspect of pre-hackathon stage, we have discussed a lot of things, how you need to approach a hackathon, how to register for it, and how to analyze the problem statement and do a deep dive into it, and so on. So now comes the second stage, that is hackathon participation. So let me first announce the general structure of an offline hackathon. So I mean, for the current scenario, even though it doesn't work out, let me say you how it works. So during the final final round of the hackathon. So what you'll be do is you'll be invited to a particular venue and you'll be competing with the other teams. So first thing is to do a 1 minute idea pitch. You need to go to the stage and pitch your solution in 1 minute, so that everyone will be having an idea about your solution, and everyone will be getting know about it. So it happens with everyone. Any one member from the team will be going on. They won't be presenting, but they'll be making a pitch. So to know what is an idea pitch is that, you can go and refer the startup pitches what they do in YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and check out videos like Startup Weekend and other startup competitions like TechCrunch and so on, so where they'll be doing a 1 minute pitch of explaining the solution. Then comes the first 8 hours of solution building. So it doesn't mean you'll be sitting 8 hours at a stretch, but you can always take a break. You can take a nap. You can go out and play. You can have relaxation, recreation activities, and so on. So everything will be present there. You can code alongside it. So do not stress yourself with continuous coding, or you're building a solution for, maybe if you're building a hardware prototype or something like that. Don't try to compress yourself, because be relaxed as much as possible and try to invest as much of time and make it more productive. So once the 8 hours is done, you'll be getting your first review. So mentors will be coming to your desk or something like that, and they'll be doing a review. So they'll be asking about what is the solution, and the important aspect of this review is that they'll be giving out ideas to you. They'll be giving you feedback. Like they'll be saying, okay, you can try to improvise your solution like in this aspect, or you can try to approach your solution in another way, and make sure that you have one person to always pitch your idea to whomever it may be. So once the first review is done, try to get and try to note down all the feedback you receive from the reviewers, because that is what the one you will be implementing in your second 8 hours. So during your second 8 hours, try to implement what are the feedback they try to tell you. And once the second review comes, they'll be really checking whether you try to accommodate the feedback they had given you. Because if you had done, or if you had started doing to accommodate their feedback, that's one of the plus points that will really help you to get to the final team selection. So this is why I had told you not to build your core solution beforehand itself, because you'll be receiving a lot of feedbacks and a lot of comments. To accommodate those comments, you need to build your solution on the go. If you had built your solution beforehand, you will be really finding difficult to bring the changes into the existing solution, and that will really create a chain of events which will to do a lot of code revisions and so on. So, or if you're trying to build a hardware prototype, that's really a worst scenario any developer can face. So once the second review is done, so they'll be announcing the top 10 teams or top 15 teams to do the final presentation. So they'll be evaluating on the reviews and the idea pitches, and they'll be selecting the top solution. And each top team selection will be doing the final presentation. So the presentation includes your demo video of your prototype, or you'll be presenting your prototype on the live stage. You'll be explaining what is the objective and how you fulfill your solution, and how it is different from others, and what is the social and economic impact it does have, and so on. So once that is done, they will be announcing the winner, and they'll be giving out the prizes. So this is how an entire 24 hours hackathon works. So if it is an online hackathon, what you have to do is, like every hackathon, they'll be specifying the date and time. You need to be present there, and they'll be having a team meeting review or the reviewer meeting. Try to join in on time and present your solution there. So it happens same as this one, but it takes place everything in virtual aspect. But one big advantage of having it at virtual is that you'll be always having guidance from outside. So there might be a person. So every team member will be working virtually on different location, but you can always try to take help from others. So it is unethical to have it, but still you can always call upon and ask for help anytime. So during a hackathon, so the one thing you need to do before hackathon is to sleep well. Don't try to churn your product on the night before the hackathon, because you will be really having a real test to your physical and mental stability during an entire hackathon, because that is why they called it as a hackathon. So let's compare it with a marathon. So in doing a marathon, you need to, they check your endurance, strength, and your perseverance to complete any marathon. So you may be a very good athlete, but it doesn't really make a point to win your marathon. So the one who has an endurance and the perseverance wins a hackathon. So that's same applies to your hackathon. So hackathon as well. So even though if you're a great coder, or if you're working extensively in a technology, that really doesn't make sense. You need to have a stable workflow during a hackathon, and always try to incorporate the changes from the mentors and network with the people as much as possible. You can talk with the organizers, you can talk with your peer competitive team members. They'll be always trying to happy to explain you what they're trying to build, and you can also give your suggestion. They can come and give you suggestions to your solution, and so on. So no one really copies their solution there. So because everyone has a fixed timeline and they'll be working on their own solution. So never mind about the people who will be trying to steal your solution. That really doesn't happen there. And the presentation of your solution matters more than a solution itself. Yes, I have witnessed this one so many times in my hackathon period. So even though you had built an extraordinary solution, there might be one team who have built an ordinary solution, but they would have made that ordinary solution into an extraordinary one by presenting it in a fruitful and an amazing way. So it really happened a lot of time. Make sure that you have create a brand for a product, and you market your product in such a way that anyone would invest on your solution. So that really makes sense while presenting your solution. So post hackathon is where you will always try to improve your solution. So if you have built your solution, it really doesn't end there. You need to always improve your solution, and make sure that you try to achieve the core the entire solution which you are aim to do. Your hackathon only has a prototype, so the solution will include the entire features. Try to always build a complete solution, and stay in touch with the people you have networked with. Yeah, it might be the organizers, or maybe it might be the companies, or it might be an angel investor there. Always be in touch with the people you are networked with, and even though they'll be happy to see your solution post the hackathon. I have received a couple of calls where even though I haven't made into the top 10, but still I usually have a good network of people post the hackathon. I had received a couple of calls to come and pitch my idea in the company post the hackathon. So it really happens. So make sure you keep network and keep them updated with your solution. And always try to receive a certificate or proof of submission from the organization. So if you're trying to attend a hackathon, you need to put into your resume, and to make sure your resume looks authentic, you need to have a proof. So always receive a certificate or the proof of submission of your solution from the organizations. So they can't really try to do that during the hackathon, but post hackathon, stay in touch with the organizer and ping them to send you the relevant certificates and proofs. So before diving into the FAQs or the questions you have in your mind, let me have these are the general questions I hear a lot from people. So I will try to answer these questions first, then I can take your questions personally. So the first question which I often ask is that I do not have a solid programming language. I do not have a programming knowledge at all. Can I participate in a hackathon? I would say a very big yes. You can participate in the hackathon irrelevant of your programming knowledge. Even though your solution needs to build from the scratch, you might be a person who can be working on the UX UI technologies, or you might be the person who is working on a hardware tech perspective, or there might be a hackathon which is only focused on the ideas. So you may just present your ideas there as well. So programming knowledge is not a necessity one, but really helps during a hackathon. The second one is that I cannot find a teammate. So I have received a couple of questions. Is that I'm really interested to attend a hackathon, and the hackathon needs to have around 3 to 4 members of team members, but I can't find like-minded people. This is where your networking comes into play. You can always try to ping your participants or the fellow competitive team members who you would have met in the hackathon. So I'm really in touch with few people who were my competitors in previous hackathon, but we teamed up in the future hackathon itself. So you can always find your teammates in LinkedIn, or you can post. Then also teammates can be found on the spot of the hackathon itself. There is one scenario of takes place like that, but don't depend on that. Or else you can find your team members in your colleges, or you can announce that you are looking for teammates for this scenario of these roles for this hackathon, like in your social handles and so on. And there are in platforms such as Hackereth, you can recruit your team members in the registration panel itself. So you can create your own team. You can send out a team requirement that I'm looking for a developer of mobile technology or maybe machine learning, and people who are like you, who are trying to find a team, they'll be looking to your team requirement and they'll be joining your team. So this is how you can find your team members. And how to find time to prepare for hackathon despite my busy college or professional work. Let me tell you, I'm pursuing my final year right now, and past 3 years, so I have attended my first hackathon during my third semester of my second year. Until now, I have attended around 60 plus hackathon. And where did I find my time to prepare for this? Is that you always have a plenty of time during your college. The only thing is that you do not see it. So you will be having your internal assessments, assignment, and semester exams, but there are a lot of days where you'll be sitting idly, or you'll be only engaging in activities which of lesser priority. So try to schedule your time, and you'll be always having at least 1 or 2 hours per day to work on your solution extra time. So the thing is that let me tell my personal experience, but I'm not sure that it will apply to you. So if it is an internals or if an assignment, something like that, as every engineering student like me, so obviously it is me, but I'm not sure about others, you'll be doing on the last day of your submission, right? Okay, that's fine that you will be preparing on the night before your exams. That usually happens. But think of the time you'll be having, the time between two examinations. So the internal takes place every 1 month. You'll be having a solid 1 month of your time to invest on hackathons. Yes, like it may be at least 1 or 2 hours in the evening, or maybe you can spend a little time after night. Yes, you can do that. And where can I find authentic hackathons? There are many hackathon organizing websites like Hackereth, HackerRank, and TechGeek, and so on. So there are many pages and Instagram and Twitter handles which announce the hackathons news and so on. So always try to have a look out for it. And LinkedIn is a best place to know what's happening around the world. If you do not have a LinkedIn account, try to create it and look into it. Whom can I choose as a mentor? So the mentor can be anyone who is an expert in that field. So while doing your domain research, you'll be obviously engaging with your expert, right? So he can be one of your mentor, and anyone who is like your guide, or anyone in your college staffs can be your mentor, or you can find your mentors online as well. So it might be, you can find, if you're looking for a mentor who is in good at machine learning, you can find them always in Kaggle, and you can ping them in LinkedIn or Twitter. And the one thing I would say is that you will be never denied from like if you approach a person to mentor them, they'll be really happy to mentor you. I have never seen a person who had turned down me that I can't mentor you and so on. So no matter how you do or what is the level of the knowledge you have in a particular technology, they will be really happy to help you out. And there are few scenarios where the hackathon organizers will be having a panel of mentors and team members. They will be happy to assist you. So you can try to ping a particular mentor, and you can always ask for help. And what do I do if the organization doesn't give me travel reimbursement? So this is where I told you about checking about the authenticity of a hackathon, right? So if it's a really good hackathon and you have a really good solution and you think that it is really a good hackathon you can never miss, try to spend your own money and go to it, because you'll be reaping, try to have the benefits you'll be reaping out in your mind. And usually you can really invest in your travels and your stay and go to it. So the seventh question is one of the thing which I hear a lot of times. So I'm coming from a tier 2 or tier 3 college in city. How can I compete against students from top college and professionals from top tech companies? Yes, let me tell you, I'm coming from a tier 2 city, and I have competed against top colleges in India. By top colleges, you know who are the top colleges and universities, and the professionals from the top tech companies. The professionals can be from Facebook, Amazon, Google, or maybe one of the top companies in your locality as well. So how can you compete against them? Let me tell you that everyone is not an expert there, and also there's always a chance to learn. You might be thinking that those who are coming from the top colleges will be having a great knowledge, round of knowledge, and they'll be giving building an extensive solution. No, they'll be just like you. There'll be a team. Let me tell you, like they'll be have every team will be like more or less will be on the same level. There may be no way that a team is more knowledge, or they have been next a very good team compared to others. I never felt, though I have felt some discriminations while attending a hackathon, but in later on stage I realized that every team is equal, and the organizer or the mentor or the reviewers never give a priority to where you're coming from and what you're doing. They'll be only focusing on a solution and how well the solution is. So make sure that your solution speaks for you. And I had asked, like many people had asked my this question, like your solution is so good and we are trying to, and I'm willing to invest in it, and are you coming from this top college from the India? They'll be asking. Obviously my answer is no. Then that will be really giving them a big shock, because see that your solution is what makes you, defines you, not your college or the background you have. So the next thing is that is for the people who want to become entrepreneurs. So I want to turn my hackathon idea into a startup. What should I do? Always try to ping your investors during your hackathon. Have an eye on it, or else post a hackathon. Try to present that same solution in startup competitions like Startup Weekend and so on. So I think now I will be taking your questions from the chat.
Yes. So one question is how one should start doing projects. Like some projects don't have idea how to start with the project. How are what are the proper steps to build a project?
Yeah, okay, that's one of the good questions. So if you are new to a technology or new to a particular project, first thing is that you need to, like, before hackathon, try to have a hands-on with the solution, because you cannot be learning your entire technology during the hackathon. So what you have to do is try to build a little small projects, like building a login page using React. So if you're trying to learn a React kind of a scenario, so try to build a few websites using React, so you'll be comfortable with creating with the technology, so that you can dive into your solution. So look up in the internet and see how this feature can be integrated with your existing project. So you'll be always you can learn from that. And like some people do not have idea how to start with the project. So as I said before, like take up a simple 1 week course, or maybe a 2 to 3 day course to get yourself familiar with the technology, and you can get started with it. So this really comes from your domain research. So if you have an idea solution, and if the solution really need to have the technology you're looking for, then you need to learn the technology. There is no other way. So there was this time where I had no idea about what is machine learning, and my first project on machine learning was that. So I had won a second runner-up during my first machine learning project. So before that, before learning to deep dive into that, I really experimented with machine learning. I learned a few basics. Then I jumped into the problem statement. I consulted a lot of experts. Then I improved it. So within the progress of 3 months, I was like, I can say that I started to mentor people who are working on machine learning. So I think that would really, I think this answer would really answer your question.
Okay. So the next question is, are famous skills like machine learning and artificial intelligence important for participating in hackathons?
I think this is one of the jargon words people usually put them in the solution part to make sure to show your solution as a flabbergasted one, like a big solution. But really, it doesn't. These skills are not important. Only thing is you need to focus on your solution. If your solution really needs to have an AI or a machine learning aspect in that, then you can integrate it. You can work upon it. It really doesn't mean that you need to showcase that you have these kind of skills and these are the technologies you have included in your solution. Really doesn't matter. They really see upon how the solution is implemented and how well your solution works and is the solution feasible. If your solution answers these three questions, then that's enough. You need not worry about how the whether the skills required for that is not necessary.
Okay, so the next question is, could you please elaborate again more about product, how should be that kept in mind?
Great. Okay. So how a prototype is that it need to have the core solution of your core feature of your solution. For example, if you are trying to build a solution where it is to identify some people in a picture. So let's take a simple scenario. So that means you need to really identify the people in the picture. That is your core solution. Make sure that your solution really stands apart. Once that your solution is done, you can work upon a lot of things, like you can add you can decorate your solution with other features. So you need to identify the features which solves your problem statement, and you need to definitely complete the solutions during a hackathon prototype. So that's what a prototype is. So if you're trying to build a robot or a small automated driving car, like a toy car, that means your car should drive along of a particular path. So that's a main scenario you need to work upon. And other thing is that if your car can drift, that's an additional feature. So you can figure it out what I'm trying to say, I guess. So yeah, can take the next question.
Okay, so which programming languages are good for startups?
It really doesn't matter, but it really depends upon the technology and the features. And if you are, let me share one of the basics of the technologies which they expect. So if you're trying to build a web app, try to use a frameworks like Django, Mean, or Stack. That will be easier for your product building as well, and it will also be easier to scale your product once the hackathon gets over. If you're going into machine learning projects, make sure that you write your projects in the languages which is very convenient to you, like can go for Python or R. And if you are working on IoT technology, go for C, C++. If you are working on Arduino, go for C. So it depends upon the solution and what technology you are trying to adopt to it. And in the end, what matters is that how your solution worked and what is not the things you have undertaken to build the solution. So the technology and the programming language is irrelevant, but if you are starting, I would suggest these are the technologies you need to, like, you can always keep it in your hand. That will be helpful for you to build any prototype.
Okay, so how hackathons helped you in your career and in getting the internships?
Yeah, so I have secured one internship in machine learning startup, and I have received placement offers, and I have received a couple of swags and prize monies and cash prizes, and these are the ways. I think that is what a college students would look like, right? So you need an internship for your college resume, or like your progress for your career, and you need a placement offer for your career, right? So I think I got both of them from my hackathon itself. And plus points is the swags and the cash prizes. You, I guess that you should not really focus on the money, but instead try to learn as much as possible during the hackathon, and that will really showcase and present yourself well during the hackathon. That will really secure you a placement offer, definitely.
Okay. Okay, so next question is, what is the best way to find mentors? Also, can the same mentor be contacted for all the webinars I attend, or should I look for skills required in the webinar and the skills in the mentor?
Okay, I guess I have discussed that during my presentation. You can always find your mentor in your LinkedIn or the domain experts whom you're trying to contact, and uh, anyone who is an expert or who is doing well in a particular technology, you can always approach them and you can ask them to be your mentor. And also, can the same mentor be contacted for all webinars I attend? Should I look for skills required in the webinar and skills? So I guess webinar in the you mean hackathon, right? So you can always contact your same mentor. It doesn't really matter because they'll be trying to help you with different solutions. So I have a couple of mentors who had stayed throughout my hackathon journey to help me with the products, and they don't really matter whether which hackathon I'm participating. They really help me of what solution I'm trying to build. And obviously you need to have to look into the skills of the mentor, because only then they'll be able to assist you in the doubts and the progresses you have. So I think that's
Okay. Okay. So one question is, just a second. Yes. So I want to improve my Oracle. Please let me know about good Oracle programs.
can you come again? Your audio was breaking.
Yes. One question is, I want to improve my skills in Oracle. Please let me know about good Oracle programs.
Okay, great. Okay, so for Oracle programs, I think there is a site called Oracle University where they provide you all the learning courses for the free of cost. You can always check them out, and that is where you can find Oracle technologies. Like you can learn the technologies irrespective of the companies. Like say Oracle, you can always try to, if you are looking for a cloud related technology, you can always try to learn AWS, Oracle, Azure, or GCP. If you're looking for a particular technology, always to learn a course, there are multiple courses. Like Edvicer provides you a platform to attend millions of courses. So always you can find a better one in Edvicer. And if and also you can always check out in the original provider. For Oracle there is Oracle University, and for Microsoft there is Microsoft Learn Docs, and so on. So I guess they have a pretty good content there as well.
Okay. Okay. So now, what's the specific thing we should kept in mind during every semester, like college semester?
How to semester?
Yes,
So
like what, during semesters we have subjects. So what should we while working on our subjects? What things should be kept in our mind?
yeah, okay. So one thing is that your academics should always have a bigger priority than your hackathons, because there might be hundreds of hackathons coming every year, but your examination comes only once. Do not have a backlog, or don't try to have a backlog, and if you have, try to clear it as much as possible, because it really helps you in your placement. So if your hackathon really clashes with your semester exams and so on, so give preference to your semester exams. Hackathon, please drop it, because you are, as I said before, you will be having multiple hackathons in a row, but you can never have a semester again. So, and to concentrate on the semester subjects is that always whatever you learn in your semester subjects, you can try to implement in a practical way for your hackathon. So that would really make sense there. So if you're learning cloud computing in your uh, semester subject, so we can try to build a solution for a cloud computing in an upcoming hackathon. So that would really do. If you are working on a cyber security, try to build a security patch that would not prevent any hackers to get into a particular product. So that's how you convert your semester and subject knowledge into a practical knowledge through hackathons.
Okay. Next question is, what is the roadmap of publishing research papers?
Great. Okay. So I have converted few of my hackathon solutions into research papers. So the first thing is to uh, try to find a journal or a research conference where you can publish your conferences. So your research paper. Try to find an authentic one, and once you find that, try to submit your abstract of your research paper. So the abstract can be the same one which you had tried to submit during a hackathon. So it can be abstract, can be a one page where it shows what is the thing you are trying to do, and what are the core technologies you are trying to involve in that, and how it is different from others. So do not try to include the business aspects into a research paper, but try to be very specific and more detailed about the approach of your solution, because that is what it really matters. Then once that your abstracts get accepted by the particular research journal or the conference, you need to start writing your own research paper. There are multiple templates like IEEE template, and you can have a can go through it and you can fill the content according to that. Have one of your professors, if you're really your professor would have published research papers and conferences, right? So give your papers to professors and have a proofread with them, and then submit that research paper to your conference. So once that is done, you they'll be notifying whether your solution is your paper is accepted or not. So if it is accepted, you'll be presenting on the day of your conference. After that, it'll be published in your journal. So I would say like this entire conference or research paper publication will really take a couple of months, say from 6 to 8 months, but it is really worth it because that's value to your resume. Yeah.
Okay. So Upmanyu wants to know how to start preparing for Smart India Hackathon as a beginner. Please help me.
Okay, great. So myself being a Smart India Hackathon winner of 2019 for Indian Railways problem statement, uh, let me share my personal way how I approached it. For the Smart India Hackathon, you need to know you need to submit your a presentation for your first evaluation. Before that, try to analyze the existing solutions and try to read the entire problem statement, what you're trying to expect. Build then prepare a presentation to submit, and make sure it goes for multiple reviews so that you feel comfortable, that you'll be confident that your solution will be really getting accepted. So once if the solution gets accepted, always start working on your solution, like as I said, the pre-hackathon stage, where you need to build a boiler code, or try to do a demo, or try to experiment, collect results, do domain research work and everything. So that will be really helping you to prepare for a Smart India Hackathon. I guess whatever we have discussed so far also applies the same for a Smart India Hackathon, but try to look into the timeline and what we need to submit for the hackathon. So that's the thing we can do.
Okay, very well explained. Now this question is very nice. I think Raj is asking, it makes me really stuck when I try to attempt a hackathon. So where does a beginner start from at the beginning for the hackathon?
Okay, to start from the beginning, I would say the first good thing for you to attend a hackathon is to attend an idea hackathon, where you will be only presenting the idea of your solution. So I think that will be the best way to boost up your confidence to get into a real hackathon further that. So in real hackathon, you'll be trying to build a solution there. So the first thing is that as I said before, your programming knowledge really doesn't matter, or the programming language what you use really doesn't matter, but always try to build a solution from it. And you can use hackathon as a source to learn new technologies. As I said before, I used hackathon to learn new technologies such as web development, machine learning, and many other sources. So I guess with the hackathon as your primary priority, or as a motivation, you can try to learn new technologies for that and present it. Even though your first solution may not be as best as it would be, but I can assure you that with coming hackathons, you can really build a better one, and the progress you can really note down the improvement and the learning curve as you attend more hackathons.
Okay, so can you mention some projects for C language, like basic projects?
I would say, like, you can for the C, I guess that will really work for your hardware related projects. So for C projects, you can go for IoT and hardware related stuff. So you can learn for Arduino programming, and you can build very sufficient and very beautiful IoT projects that will really have a good place in hackathon solutions. And for other C solutions, I'm not really sure that it will make a big impact of building your entire solution. For example, if they are asking you to build an end-to-end system, I think C won't be the best language to work upon. But it will be a very best language to work on embedded systems, hardware solutions, IoT. Then you can really explore that part of your projects.
Okay, so now I think I have covered almost all questions. So I would like to thank and appreciate Vivek for accepting the invitation and sharing his time, knowledge, and experience with all of us. We have learned many things. We have learned and gained so much from this webinar. I'm also very grateful to Milan sir and Webhav sir for giving me this opportunity to host this webinar. Thank you for believing in me, sir. At last but not the least, I would like to show my gratitude to all the participants for keeping patience and making this webinar very interactive and wonderful. Without your support, this webinar won't be this much successful and fruitful. So on the behalf of whole Edvicer family, once again, thank you so much, Vivek, for guiding and inspiring all of us and motivated us to participate in hackathons and making us understand about the importance of hackathon. We have a feedback form in the chat box, so please do fill it so that we can improve ourselves by your outcomes. And you'll be given the participation certificate only when you fill the feedback form given in the chat box. It's me, Ashika, and I am now ending the webinar with a beautiful note that if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, then no one can stop you. Hope you all have a wonderful day again. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. And please fill the feedback form which is shared to you on the chat box.
Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click the bell icon so you won't miss your next free webinars and tutorials.